To bring along with good friend Gooby. How are you doing today, Gooby?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good. Excited to be here with you, watch some Dandara. It's going to be a good time.
I honestly expected you to say I'm Goobin, but okay. Today we are playing Dandara. This is Dandara Trials of Fear. This is the free DLC that came out. You might be saying, ooh, cool, DLC stuff. The any percent actually does not evolve in the DLC, but it's still a very interesting and fast-paced run. I think I'm going to get started without any more to do because I did give myself actually not as generous of an estimate as I thought I would. I guess I was feeling pretty brave today, so I hope I do well. Anything else you have before we start here, Goob?
No, I'm just excited to see it. Let's get into this run.
All right, I'll give you a countdown then. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
So the first thing you're gonna notice about this game is that movement is completely different. We're not gonna be running around. Running is really lame, so we're gonna jump everywhere instead.
Yeah.
There is actually no way to run either. It's just, this is the main movement mechanics as well. And the way the game works is these platforms, they're all covered in salt, and we can jump on any of the ones with salt on them. That's pretty much just how it works.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways I can like influence the angles that I'm trying to like jump at. Not really easy to describe some of them. Do you have any that you could like mention, Goob?
Yeah, no, when you're in a kind of a horizontal, a long hallway, you're going to want to keep your widest angle as possible. And the angle system is really interesting in this game. You can also, there'll be certain sections where PoleCat will be in. He's going to keep his angle throughout the whole section, so you can like lock in at a 45-degree angle and like alternate it, like 45-degree angle to the left and to the right. This game has a lot of small optimizations like that with the angle positions you use. You want to get through the rooms in as few jumps as possible.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of small optimization to rooms that don't really have enemies in them. That was the first potion we're grabbing the run. We're going to be grabbing 2 of them. You might ask what they're used for. They're purely for safety today. There are certain deaths that if you just happen to take them, it's like 7 minutes lost, and then that's pretty hard to make up for. So hopefully, let's not die today. I'd be appreciative of myself for not doing that. So what we did there is we talked to the NPC. I believe her name was Tarsila. I actually have not read her name in a while, but what it does is it activates a lot of these slow-moving green platforms around. We need to activate a purple one next, and then we'll be able to progress to like the next required item for this beginning area. This beginning area is called the Village of Artists. If you don't know this game, it was made in Brazil, or it was made by a Brazilian team, rather. And this area is kind of like inspired by the streets in Brazil. It's very interesting, and a lot of the level design in this game is very unique.
Yeah, a lot of this game has been inspired by Brazilian history that you can read into. So
normally I wouldn't do this here, but I'm going to take a quick potion just to make sure I don't die in this section.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, normally you kind of need to take some damage boosts later on, and it's nice to have the low health for that, but it's okay here. Yeah, I'm happy I did that then. Coming up on the first mini boss here, it's not really anything of note. We're just kind of gonna stick to the ceiling and shoot it.
Hardest fight ever. You have me sweating.
That truly is difficult. This is the run confirmed now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, essentially what you do there is you line up at a certain point on the wall. So kind of in between that that safety railing, close to the right-hand brick wall there. You just line up with that, and then that little turret won't shoot you.
Yeah, so now we activated the other platforms that move slowly. So we got most of the stuff we need to get to the next upgrade done, so we're gonna head right there now. Am I allowed to make that dumb joke that every runner likes to make where they go, "Oh no, I have died. It is completely an accident."
Oh no. That hasn't happened before.
See, activating that purple platform gets us into this next little area over here. And it'll be getting us the first sub-weapon at the end of it. This section has a lot of slow-moving platforms that we stand on, so if we have a donation or two, now is definitely a good time to read it off.
Fantastic. We have $100 from Classic Ragu. They said had to donate during real PoleCat hours. Good luck on the run. Hope we get fake town skip first try. And remember to try not to get too salty. Thank you so much.
We have time for another one if you want to read another one too.
All right, sounds good. Dolite to Great sends us $25. They say, for once, not only do I enough... Let me try this again. Not only do I have the money spare to donate, I'm remembering to donate. So happy this is still happening during the pandemic, and since I'm working from home, I can hopefully watch most of it. Hey, thank you so much.
So we're getting the second potion here. This is going to be the other safety for the run. The reason that we do grab these potions, even though we're never going to upgrade them, it only gives us like 2 extra hearts. That makes all the difference in the next section after the Village of Artists. So over the run, like it just makes a big, a minuscule difference, but it's always active and always providing safety. This room's a little awkward, but it looks like we're getting through it. Okay, so we're gonna pick up the first sub-weapon here. This is very similar. If you've played like a Metroid game, this game being a Metroidvania, I probably should have mentioned that earlier. This is the missile. It's very different than like a normal missile in Metroidvania. Its upswings are that it's very cheap to use it and that it has a really long range, but it actually has less damage than your regular attack. It's also really useful for just obviously removing these walls that we have to. And with that, I'll be making the way to the first boss and getting out of the Village of Artists.
Yeah, the missiles are also going to be an interesting movement technique that we'll see a little bit later. That'll be used for a technique called a quick spin. And we'll mention that when it comes up.
Yeah. Going into the first boss here, there's a lot of things I could say about him. He has hands that'll show up. I want 2 hands, but most importantly, he looks like M. Bison from Street Fighter, and I always want to mention that.
He really does.
Yeah, he does. Didn't get too good of damage at the start there, but that's okay. If you do hit him enough times, you can get past this phase entirely, but I've never done that on our current weapon upgrade, which is 0 upgrades. So the second phase, we're going to be chasing after him here, and it's not too hard, so long as he doesn't spawn too many extra friends to chase us. Those are extremely annoying, and it's also complete RNG. Yeah, there's one right there.
Ideally, we want them to spawn on the bottom instead of the top, because unfortunately we're getting a little bit of bad luck. Yeah, quite a few baddies getting spawned here.
That's the best I could do with that. It was just every platform had one. You really don't want to slow down hitting them, because like when it comes to just doing damage in this game, the more hits you can get in, obviously, the better. Mm-hmm. So we're getting the first critical upgrade of the game here, which is the it's a rock of some sort. It's gonna tell me in a second, and I'm gonna pretend like I know it and say it then. The Stone of Creation. There we go. I'm so knowledgeable at the game, about the game. Yeah, Stone of Creation. So whenever we have that, any of those green platforms that you can kind of see up at the top here, whenever we're on them, we'll get like an unlimited length of jump, which is useful for getting us to the next section. Unfortunately, the game doesn't like add a whole bunch of optional ones in, so it's more of just a key opening up new areas. Oop, you missed. So we're done with the Village of Artists. We're kind of just like leaving now. I didn't really mention about the death earlier, but this game has a very similar to kind of Dark Souls mechanic where if you collect your dead body, you'll get all of your currency back. So we get all of our salt back right there. And that's just kind of like how a lot of the early game routing is. It's just trying to optimize how much salt we get. We do have another short moment here for a donation, if you would like to read one off.
Yeah, fantastic. $25 from Brian149 says, I love Dandara. This game is so wild normally. Can't wait to see what the speedrun looks like. Hope it does not disappoint. Thank you so much.
It's
We've
very
also
good.
received... Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
We've also received $1,500 from Cold Candor. They say it's too hot for witty comments. It's cool. Thank you for the generous donation.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, you guys' donations are absolutely amazing. I always like to thank, you know, all of you beautiful chatters out there for donating to a great cause. That being said, though, I have now picked up the first and only weapon upgrade we'll be getting in the game. Every weapon upgrade is simply put amazing. It just makes the game basically easier to play. We don't need to do as much damage to kill stuff. We don't have to dodge as much before something dies, basically. The problem is that everyone except that one is extremely out of the way to get, so that's the only one we'll be grabbing. And we're gonna be heading towards my favorite area, like aesthetically. I really love the next area when we get to it. It's called the Remembrance Library. We'll be picking up 4 hearts on the way. Did we get all 4 of them? Yeah, we did. Okay. Sometimes you're short on salt there, and by sometimes I mean like one run out of any run I've ever done in this game has been short on salt, but it was so extremely awkward I ended the run, so yeah.
Yeah, getting the salt early is going to be important for the hearts. We're going to need 9 hearts for a skip that we're going to be doing later, so...
Yeah, all the salt routing has, like, when this, give, like, I guess a tiny bit of history. This game's only been out for a couple years. But when the game first came out, we had, like, this idea of, like, a faster route we could do. But we were like, yeah, we can't do that because, you know, we need the salt from this fight. And then it was just like, wait a second, you know, someone, like, did the math, and they're like, okay, we can just grab this salt here. And we were like, did you do the math? And like, yeah, I did the math. I was like, whoa, crazy. Someone did math. That's amazing.
They did the math.
Excuse me. I know, right? Like, I can't imagine doing math.
I can't either.
Someone tells me to time something, I'm like, what? That involves a timer. I just press the button that says start and stop. So yeah, the salt routing has really developed a lot over the past year, to such a degree that I think there's only like 1 or 2 upgrades that are basically we get just because they're convenient. But everything else before it is 100% needed to do some sort of skip of some sort.
You also might have wondered why we didn't stop at that camp earlier. We're going to not stop at that camp because we want to go back to the one we made a checkpoint on earlier. It's going to be really important that we keep that. We're going to be death abusing it a few times. So we're only going to look at camps. And
Ooh, I got that first try.
Nice.
I didn't get a chance to describe it, but that is early desert. That is a pretty easy to do skip. You just need to kind of jump at the right time. It is a little awkward because sometimes you'll just like jump straight through the projectile and it'll be like, okay. I have phased through objects earlier than I wanted to, but thank you, game.
Yeah, during practice yesterday, you'd phase through it like a good 2-3 times.
Yes, it's very awkward when that happens. So we're just making our way to the next like critical upgrade. There's gonna be a couple empty rooms. There's gonna be some room with some blue orbs up right here. I don't have too much else to say there. So if you have another donation, this would be another good time to read it off.
Perfect. We got Luke coming in with $25 saying, donating during Dandara, a game I love since I first played it at PAX. Thank you so much. We've also got Croella with $25 saying, let's get Ori on that list. Love you all. And everyone, you are almost ready to see Ori tonight. We have less than $1,700 left. Come on, people, let's take it home.
I believe we can do it. Let's go.
Yeah, Ori is extremely exciting. I know you guys probably want to see that. So we're coming up on a mini boss here. I just call it the antlion. The only thing you really need to know about it is that I shoot him a lot in the mouth, and if he bites me, it does 3 damage.
Yeah.
Everything else does 1, so not too much to worry about there. We're going to be picking up the next critical upgrade. which is the it's another rock or a stone or my memory is really good today.
The skull.
It's a rock remembrance. You see?
Yeah.
I knew it was a rock. And I'm going to do a main menu warp there. The main menu warp is kind of interesting. It takes you straight to the door that you used last. And the reason I do that there is to skip a cutscene. It's Gooby's favorite cutscene. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, Gooby. It is too slow.
It breaks my heart.
And then now we could technically leave if we wanted to, but we're not going to. Instead, we're going to go after a completely optional item. But there's a good reason to pick it up. It's a very broken item. It saves, I think, like over 10 minutes in the run, and this is like a 30-minute run. I think my PB is a 29:06, so that's a pretty sizable chunk of time from just one upgrade. So there's going to be a little bit of backtracking in through some of these old rooms. So if you have another donation,
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah. La Cupo sends $25. They say, love watching the amazing movement in Dandara played so masterfully. Keep up the amazing work, raising money for Doctors Without Borders, and looking forward to the rest of the runs this week. Hey, thanks.
just some slow spinning carnival wheels here. I don't know what to call them. But we'll be getting into a room down here. There's just going to be these kind of like slow sand traps. Their hitboxes actually show up really late, so you can get past them really easily. Another tower enemy that we've seen before, and really that's just all this room is. We're gonna have another room coming up right ahead that has more of those sand traps that I mentioned. And the third one, I can possibly skip it, where I can get hit and lose half a second. And as you could tell, I have a lot of honor and pride, and hopefully I'll get it, but I might get hit. So, oh, I did it. That's amazing.
Kept the pride.
Yes, the pride is still here. So this is the memory shaft. This is another sub-weapon. This is the only optional sub-weapon, like I mentioned earlier, that we're gonna get. It's super broken, but it's also not useful for the next like 5 minutes. So we'll talk about that when we actually start using it. Mm-hmm. And what we did there is we used a death warp to go all the way back to a camp that we were at like several minutes ago, like 8 minutes ago, 7 minutes ago actually. And the reason for this is because that large circular room that we had passed through going into Remembrance Desert, that actually has the second boss in it, and I don't like doing that boss. It's very long, very slow. It's not painful, but it is annoying, so it's nice to get past that without having to do it. I'm going to be looking at a camp in this room. That doesn't sound very useful, but trust me, it's useful. And these two turrets are going to be chasing me through the next few rooms. The one that shoots eggs only does 2 damage, but the one that shoots a laser, it does 4 damage, and it's very painful. But it's mostly painful to the pride, not really the actual hearts.
Yeah, the lasers are really slow, so, I mean, PoleCats got excellent movement here, going really fast, so it's pretty unlikely the laser will hit him.
So we're heading towards a room where, we mentioned we'd talk about quick spins, but we actually haven't done it yet, but the room after this one is honestly the best moment to talk about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump onto a small platform, and hopefully I'm going to shoot a missile fast enough so that I can skip some laser cycles here. I am hitting all the little things today.
Nice.
I'm surprised at myself.
Yo, that room is quite tough. That's much tougher than it looks there.
Yeah, the rooms rotate, and that also rotates your controls too, so it's something you always have to keep in mind doing a run of Dandara.
Now the bird. Yeah, you can kind of see that the bird he likes to jump out about. Wow.
Amazing.
Whoa.
Whoa. I don't think I've had a fight that good in a long time. So that bird, I consider him a jerk just because he likes to sit in the wall, and you can't hit him while he's in the wall. And your bullets will die if they touch the wall. So he just kind of decides to be stupid all the time. There though, he was really nice. One thing that we haven't mentioned is that each bullet I have actually does its own individual damage. So if I hit him with only 1 bullet, it's going to take forever every time I hit him. So you need to hit him pretty cleanly a lot.
Yeah, that was an amazing fight. That was so good.
I don't think I've ever done that fight that well. I guess fun facts about that fight is he's changed multiple times. And like the first edition of that guy, he just kind of stood in place and you could shoot him a whole bunch at the start. And then he was really easy. And then they decided he should move to the side, like to the left and right a lot. And then I was like, okay, this is a little more annoying. And then they decided that he should attack more frequently. And now he's become just like, he's a menace now. There's even more of them like later on, but luckily we'll be not seeing those because of various reasons. So this is a very short section. A lot of the like other sections are just kind of like really long pieces of gameplay to get to like one area. This one's a very short piece of gameplay to get to one area, and then we're done with it. And then we'll just be kind of going on to like all the really silly skips and stuff. And yep, that's all I needed to do was look at that camp. That camp has been looked at. And we'll be making our way over here just for a couple upgrades. We simply put, in terms of upgrades, are very like squeezed for like where salt is at and how much it has. And this room is very conveniently only 2 rooms away and has like 3k salt in it. That also was not the intended way to grab that chest. You're supposed to use like a missile on that like top part of that room and it reveals a hidden path. I want to say that for prosperity in case someone like watches this and they're like, oh, how do I get that chest correctly? It's like, no, that's not how you're supposed to do it.
Give a tip to anyone who wants to play this game. And if you do want to play this game, it's on quite a few platforms, pretty much all modern gen platforms and mobile. So I would recommend checking it out.
Yeah, it is literally on everything. It is on PC, it is on X1, PS4, Switch, and your phone. So there is no reason not to check this game out, in my opinion.
It's a nice bridge.
It's definitely unique. And a lot of people do like to ask, if the other control schemes for it are good. And they've updated like the control scheme I hated, so I will easily say that every control scheme for this game is good. And there even was like free content that came out, so it is definitely a game worth checking out. So what I did there was bridge skip. I didn't really mention it that much because it's a very easy to do skip, but now I'm going to go into a very difficult skip. If I get this first try, I'll donate $10, but I will also donate $5 for every time I fail it. Do you want to go ahead and describe it there, Goob?
Yeah, so this clip is kind of equivalent to the Zebetite skip in Super Metroid. Essentially, you're kind of trying to take damage here, and from that damage, kind of push yourself through this wall. This is a frame perfect trick and is quite difficult. Like this will almost always take like quite a few tries to do. Sometimes you can even get it and oh, there we go, nice.
Yeah, that was okay. There's definitely is a level of excitement in myself though. Whenever I get it first trying to run, it's just like, oh my god, I'm actually good at video games for once, Mom.
Mom, get the camera.
Mom, look. So we're going to be grabbing 2 upgrades, so I'm going to pretty much just say this is probably the last good chance to get a donation read in if you would like to.
Yeah, fantastic. We have Marcus, who's super impressed by what he's seeing with his $100 donation. He says, bouncing around at the speed of sound. Thank you, Marcus.
Is he got places to go? Gotta follow the rainbow?
So we got 2 energy upgrades there. I'm not going to describe why just yet. We need at least 1, but 2 is probably the fastest for the final boss, so I grabbed 2. I could grab a potion 1 if I wanted safety, but safety's lame. And we're going to be going up against our turret friends from earlier. I was not very happy being shot at. It displeases me, so I'm gonna get at least some quick revenge on them.
Gotta get your revenge.
Exactly. So the strategy for this fight is we're just gonna like try to bounce around and get them to aim offset so that I can get free shots in. Of course, if I play bad, I'm just gonna get hit a lot like this.
And you're also getting some rough patterns.
I just missed a lot of early shots that I could have gotten. It's probably the big problem I made.
Oh.
Okay, I need to take a death here. It was important that I take a death there too, instead of like going on. I can't do my skips without at least full health, so that's a little bit of a problem. I also made sure I made that death warp early because the game tries to play a cutscene of that door opening, and I don't care to see that. So I'm going into lock skips now. This is like a form of damage boosting into weapon clipping. Do you want to describe? Do you know how this one works here, Goob?
Yeah, so what you're going to be doing is PoleCats is going to be clipping his weapon into a wall. You might have seen it there just briefly. You'll see that his weapon will clip into the wall and hit that that little switch. And you can see now PoleCats has 400 salt when normally you're supposed to have 0. So it's going to be doing it again over here. So watch carefully that the switch is going to be hit there as he's taking a death.
Yeah, I technically don't need to take the death, but there is an advantage in that I get all my energy and hearts back. And since my potions only restore 2 hearts, I can't do another skip again, so it's just more beneficial to just go, okay, you know, I just send me back to the camp. And before this was like a thing, like this section was easily like the death of just so many runs, because all these sections where you get behind these locks to break them is extremely slow. So it's kind of nice to just have something that goes, you know what? No, I'm not doing that.
It's always nice when you find something that skips a run killer in a speed run.
Exactly. We have one last lock clip here, and then we'll be getting on to hitting the switch for the final boss. The switch is nothing special. It's literally just on the other side of a door. So we'll be getting one last upgrade at the final camp as well. There's pretty much just like this little bit left before the final fight. And to describe, do you want to describe the first phase of the final fight? Because I think you had a fun name for him.
Oh, jeez. What was my name for him again? I'm blanking right now.
Are you blanking right now?
I'm blanking.
You said he was a giant iPad.
Oh, that was the giant iPad from yesterday. You'll see why.
So yeah, to describe the first phase, he has only really 3 attacks. But one of them is that he's always kind of like coming at you slowly while shooting projectiles. If he gets between you and the wall, you just get crushed and you die instantly, and that's a bit of a run under to die instantly. So oops,
yeah,
that happens. He also has like little mini versions of himself that go along the walls. And then he has like, yeah, that's pretty much just like the attacks. There's also like one where he like rushes straight at you to attack, and that's the one I want to see. That one gets him really easily out of the way, so I can get a lot of free shots in. But he usually doesn't do that very often, so I just take what I get.
Here we go. So this is our final fight. There's going to be 2 phases to this fight. This is the evil iPad. So ideally we want him to kind of slam into a wall, because that's a pretty laggy... Oh, there we go.
Yeah, he was very cooperative there. Ooh, that one was pretty smart of him, actually.
Okay, yeah, that went really solidly.
That's first phase. So second phase has a ton of attacks. I think we can just describe them as they come. I think that's the easiest way to work with them, because there's so many that we probably will not actually see some of them if we do this fight fast, that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're 2 masks. This is probably his most basic attack. These die in 3 shots. They're not too much of a problem.
Yeah, these ones are pretty good to get for the most part. We just don't want to see eggs mostly. They just rapid fire and they're hard to dodge, so.
Yeah, they also are a very quick attack, so like I don't get many shots in after I get out of the way of eggs.
We got our mouse cursor right now.
Yeah, mouse cursors are also not that bad to see. I'm taking a lot of hits though very early on, which is not going to be easy for me to work with.
There's some eggs.
There is eggs.
Welcome to the farmer's market.
No! Make it stop. Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
And then I got a bad angle too, and I jumped right into him. That's not good. Oof. Okay, that's my bad. I made that jump too early. I was trying to get away out of the mask.
There's a lot of
that can just that can just happen on that fight. That was more me just playing bad. But there's times where that fight just becomes so much stuff on the screen. It's just like, where do I go?
Yeah,
What do I do?
That fight is brutal. I mean, I remember you were telling me like when you're first learning this game, just hours and hours just poured into that final phase.
Yeah, my first I guess mock run, I could say, I spent 4 hours, and like 3 of those hours were spent on this fight, and I never got past it, and I I had to like stop it. I was just like, no, this is not working.
So you've gotten a bit better since then.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Another nice slam into the wall. Oh, another one. And another one.
Yeah, he can do up to 3 in a row. Oh goodness, just sniping me.
All right.
Not as good as position last time. I took more damage, but it should still be okay.
Yeah.
It would be rather awkward dying to the final boss twice. One's like, okay, it's like, yeah, sure, you know, just silly mistake, or you weren't ready for it. But 2 is like, okay, I'm just playing bad.
So far, just
so mouse cursors, not too bad to deal with. Like mentioned before, very easy to kind of just dodge around their patterns. More mouse cursors, interesting. Okay.
Ooh.
I was not ready for that one to show up right there. So that laser, it's pretty easy to dodge, but it does like 5 hearts of damage. It hurts. I can't remember if it's 4 or 5, but it is not fun to get hit by. Oh no, now there's X.
Farmer's market again.
Looks like we're okay though. Yeah, we got through it.
Awesome.
Lasers did most of the work at the end there. That's the nice thing about grabbing lasers. It lets you get past some of the harder phases of them. Time is not now. It's going to be after the credits end. And then it, like once the game shows the time, that's when time is at. But yeah, you know, it's been a lot of fun being here with GDQ. I know it was a pretty short run, but you know, short's good, right?
Yeah. If you look closely here, you'll see PoleCats in the credits here. So if you look very closely for it.
Should I like slow down? Like, oh,
There we go. Yep.
But yeah, I've been PoleCats. You can check me out on my stream, and my co-commentator is he is Gooby. He is with Midwest Speed Fest. If you'd like to check them out. I don't think I have anything else to add. Do you have anything else to add, Gooby?
I just want to thank you for letting me couch this. I had a lot of fun, and just keep donating to the cause. And
did you actually pull a couch out?
I just have it off his chair.
I'm gonna need an image of a couch later, buddy.
Oh no.
I'm holding you to this.
I'll send you an image of a couch.
All right, thank you. But yeah, that's been it from us. So I'd like to hand it back off to the donation reel, of course.
Hey, thank you so much, PoleCats, for that amazing run. Or should I say, obrigado. And also thanks to Gooby for that awesome, awesome, awesome commentary. Got one more donation here. Failed uplink since $5 and says, Dandara is a fantastic game. Here's a few more for Ori. Well, thank you very much. And we're going to be throwing it over to a quick Twitch ad. Don't worry, we will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Summer Games Done Quick 2020 online, powered by Twitch, raising money in support of Médecins Sans Frontières. Let me tell you that the Ori donation train has almost pulled in. We are less than, let's see. Oh, we're less than $100 away. We're going to get it. Come on, it's going to take us over the top. Sid Zill with $5 says Ori train. Cyrus Board with $5 says Ori train. Alex R with $50 says I'm super excited for the Portal runs. Good luck to all the runners. Okay, that was a combo breaker, but we do have Portal coming up. I'm super hyped for it. You can obviously tell. And yeah, I'm going to get you guys psyched for him too pretty quickly. And everyone, the Ori hype train has pulled into the station. We have unlocked the Ori and the Will-o'-the-Wisp speed run later tonight. Siginar, you better get ready to put on a sick run. Everybody wants to see it. Thank you so much for raising the $35,000 for MSF to meet that incentive. You guys are amazing. A little more celebration. $100 from C. Sunning says, I know we don't have a big crowd for this GDQ, but can we get a hype in chat? Yeah, we need to get that. We are moving mountains here tonight, people. We're killing these incentives. Thank you so much, everybody. Man, the generosity is so real tonight. Thank you. Also, hey, chat, got some more great news. Everybody's getting cake. All right. Okay, I'm going to fess up. I lied about the cake. But what I do have for all of you are speedruns of both the Portal games in the Portal series. We're going to be starting off with first Portal. Shiz Al is here. He's going to be bringing y'all a glitchless run. That's right. You're not going to see any save load abuses. You're not going to see any wall warps. You're just going to see pure Portal pandemonium. So don't panic. It's coming up in just a little bit. So please stick around. The Hyper Portal already coming in, already real. We got $1,000 from Orin956. Says big thanks to all the runners, commentators, and everyone else working behind the scenes to make this event possible. Thank you so much. We also have, oh boy, how am I going to try to do this name? Nuab. Oh boy, I did my best. $50 from Red Nuab. Says puzzles everywhere, but all have been solved before. A quicker way displayed today. Good luck with all the runs. Oh, we're getting some puzzles soon. Don't worry. We got $50 from Rebel Chillin'. Says simply, love you all. Aw, thank you. Neko Kaneko-san with $50. Offering some forgiveness. They say the cake may be a lie, but these games are a triumph. It's here in my notes. Huge success. Thank you so much. Hey, they're in my notes too. We've got $25 from Chase. Their comment reads, Portal Haiku, orange and blue gates, traversing turrets and gaps. The cake is a lie. Keep calm and experiment fast. Hey, thank you so much. I want to thank another one of our sponsors, Fangamer, a video game merch company with new SGDQ merchandise available now, including a face mask, event badges, a limited edition pin, a pullover hoodie, and more. 100% of profits from GDQ merch sales support MSF's humanitarian mission. Also, Stardew Valley's Collector's Edition is now available for pre-order. You can check them out at fangamer.com/GDQ. Hey, thanks, Fangamer. I'm so hyped for those virtual attendee badges. They say badge checks aren't a thing for this GDQ, but I feel like I need to be ready. It's a force of habit. Also, if enough badges are sold at the top tier level, they all get a shiny foil upgrade. Everybody loves a shiny, so go check it out at fangamer.com/GDQ. And now, it's interview time.
Oh, hello everyone! Welcome back to SGDQ 2020 Online. I am Kung Fu Fruit Cup. I am joined here with Karen Stewart, who is a humanitarian aid mental health specialist with Doctors Without Borders, or MSF. How are you doing today, Karen?
I'm doing great. Thank you for all of this amazing work.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's amazing. I agree. It's an amazing event. It's feels wonderful to be a part of, and we're so happy to talk with you today about some of the work that you're doing with MSF and a lot of your background and history, especially in the mental health category. I think it's really, really awesome. Like, thank you for doing that kind of work. So I have heard that you've been doing this for over 25 years. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
Wow, that's a really, really long time. Would you say that there's a specific focus within mental health that you tend to lean on?
Well, I started in like substance abuse, addiction, right, in my own recovery, and then kind of moved towards mental health and got broader, dealing with, just general mental health.
Yeah, well, okay, so then how did that come about for you? Like, what got you into the field and brought you to MSF?
Well, I had worked in the field for about 15 years in the US. I'd worked in hospitals and residential and again, substance abuse and a lot of different areas. But then actually I had a significant loss in my family. My sister, my only sibling, took her own life.
I'm really
And
sorry to
it
hear that.
really just twisted my world, for like a year. And when I came out of that, I really realized, okay, what do I really want to be doing? And that's when I was like, oh, you know what? I had this dream to be a humanitarian aid worker. I'm going to go do that. So that's kind of what got the final jump from working mental health in the US and getting my master's degree and all of that to actually, applying for MSF and going out.
Well, yeah, I feel like a lot of the times in life, having that kind of personal connection with some kind of disability or mental health, all of that thing, like, people who have siblings or parents or relatives or friends that go through all kinds of crises or cancer, anything like that, it tends to lean them in the direction of wanting to help more or even working in the field. So I completely understand that personal thing for you. And again, very sorry for your loss. And it's great that you are working really hard to help others going through something that could be similar to that. So thank you.
Thanks.
I was wondering if you had any kind of notable or memorable experiences working with MSF, like any specific instances of things that have happened surrounding you or your type of work.
Well, one of the things that really stuck out for me, I think about all my experience, my education, I have a master's degree, I've done all this work. And when I went to work with MSF, I just assumed, okay, I'll bring all of this to do. But I got to tell what it taught me is actually it's the simple things. It's that just being present with a person, active listening, reflecting feelings. I mean, it really took me back to basics.
Mhm.
And I'll give you an example. This one always sticks with me. So this is Indonesia on the island of Java near Yogyakarta. And it had been an earthquake. And we were coming in with a mental health team to do 3 days of kind of just psychoeducation and really support people who had suffered from this disaster. And when we arrived, there was a woman who ran up to me and said, "Can you please come and see my sister? She's been sitting under a tree for like 5 days, not eating, not speaking to anybody, just shaking back and forth. Please come help." So I go with a counselor over to help her. And I'm telling you, within like 10 minutes, I just asked her what's going on. And she says to me, "I'm going crazy. I'm absolutely losing my mind because I won't go back into my house." And I look at her house and it's demolished. And I'm like, "I'm not going back in your house."
Yeah.
That is a very rational, normal thing I just normalized it, right? I validated for her, you are not going crazy. You are responding normally. And that was all it took. I'm serious. She stood up, perked up, looked around, said thank you, and walked away.
Wow.
And I've always remembered that as, okay, sometimes you just need to just show up for somebody, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. That validation, I like using that term too when I am in a position of wanting to help or offer advice or anything. And of course, I'm not qualified like in your field, but that's definitely something that's rang really, really true with me to really make people feel heard, make them feel validated, like to really make people feel understood. So I think that's wonderful. I don't know how I would process something like that either. Maybe I would also sit under a tree for 5 days. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, in terms of more of your specific MSF work as well, like I know you've had all of these experiences, but is there anything that you would say that you've brought into Doctor Without Borders, or ideas or programs or things that you've wanted to incorporate?
No, again, I think it's more the other way. I mean, you have to keep in mind when we're in the field. So right now we have 43,000 people in the field, and
Wow.
90% of those people are locally hired, right? So I'm out there as a mental health officer, but I'm actually not the one seeing the patients. These are local counselors, right? So 90% of the people, and we're doing that because the local people, they speak the language, they know the culture, they know the community, and whatever's happening, whether it's malaria or Ebola or violence or whatever's going on is happening for them. So it makes sense that they're the people in the front. So when I go in, yes, as a mental health officer, I'm the manager of a team. I'm doing trainings. I'm clinically supervising, but I am completely and totally looking to local people as to what works here, what doesn't work here, where can we go, where should we not go, that kind of thing. They're definitely the lead. Yeah,
Yeah, so maybe you've like learned a lot from them, just being able to experience.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
that kind of
Yeah.
world experience of how people process and how local communities support them in turn, which is,
Yeah.
I feel like I just want to say like that's so cool all the time, but I just find it really fascinating and wonderful, this line of work. So that's great. But also we were talking for a bit earlier, and you mentioned something a little different from what you do, but it's called the Access Campaign. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. It's really important to me right now because it's very, very relevant with COVID-19. But the Access Campaign, it's an advocacy campaign, and it was actually founded by the money that MSF received, the prize money from the Nobel Peace Prize in 1999. So we formed this advocacy campaign, and they believe that health, including medicines, is a matter of justice, not charity. Lives before profit, right? So affordability, accessibility, and they're very active right now because with this pandemic, we can see, yeah, we're saying no patents, no monopolies, no profiteering, right? These medicines that are coming forward, the vaccines that are coming need to be available to everyone, right? Without those high prices. And it's reminiscent of the HIV/AIDS crisis 20 years ago when we stood beside people and said, no, medicine must be affordable, accessible. And so here we stand again together against another virus.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I'm on board with you, and it's great
Yeah.
to hear that things like this are happening. It's been wonderful chatting with you before the interview, during the interview. Always happy to talk. Thank you so much for letting us in on your experiences and your time with MSF and in mental health. Really appreciate it, Karen. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate it too, and all the work that you're all doing. It's incredible watching everybody with the games. It's really fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Well, thank you so much again. And everybody, look forward to Portal and Portal 2. Those runs are coming up next. So thank you all so much. And we will be back soon.